Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings from Ho Chi Minh City, which is where one of our offices is. So, one of the things I would like to start off by saying is I understand that a lot of people are very much concerned about the current situation of the cryptocurrency markets and the blockchain industry as a whole, given what's happened with the recent meltdown of FTX, BlockFi, and a number of other associated projects. This is certainly highly concerning to a number of people, and that's why I basically want to come online and just speak within a raw video clip that will be unedited and gives me the opportunity to be able to talk to the community as a whole. And I'll also be more than happy to answer any questions should those arise at any point. So, one of the things to point out is, as a leader, your job in any circumstance, in any situation, and in any market condition is to be able to get out there, to communicate, and to be able to talk directly to the community about the current situation and the overall market conditions, and how this might be reflected within the platform that you are running. Now, first and foremost, the good news about SnapEx is that we are very liquid and we are in a strong position to be able to move forward with the next stage of our developments. Now, speaking about FTX as a whole, a cardinal sin of any trading platform, or exchange for that matter, is trading with your own user funds, and particularly doing so with leverage. This means that there's an inherent platform risk, particularly when it comes to processing customer withdrawals. These are things that always need to be done within a timely manner. Otherwise, you risk losing those customers and, of course, losing the actual trust within the community as a whole. Likewise, when you use self-issued tokens as collateral and having those tokens represented as assets within your balance sheet, well, of course, this leads to a massive number of ethical and corporate governance conundrums, which, of course, does not augur well for the industry as a whole. And that's something that, in my mind, it's a good thing in many ways that it happened, because it does have the overall effect of clearing out the bad actors from within the industry. But of course, there's also something else to point out, that the retail level investor would not be aware of quite a lot of these issues that may have been reflected in the balance sheet. Now, when you look at investors from an equity perspective, it is very likely that they would have had a greater degree of understanding of the actual practices and of the raw data and the overall situation within both FTX and Alameda Research, given that they had access to the data room. But the retail level investor would have had absolutely no idea, meaning that they effectively continue trusting the platform without having perfect information or an overall clear picture of what the situation was. Either way, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, no matter what condition or at what stage of development your platform is at, you have a responsibility to your community and to your users to be able to get out there and to communicate. What SBF has proven in the last number of days is that he is ultimately lacking as a leader. He has prioritized trolling and cryptic messages, adding a whole new meaning to the term cryptography, I'm sure, as opposed to getting out there, talking to the community, explaining what was going on, and of course, giving some greater degree of clarity. Now, when you're going through a situation like this, you can always say, and you always have the ability to be able to use PR speak here. Due to legal challenges, I can't disclose everything, but I can assure you that everything is being worked on. That is how he should have handled it, but ultimately he failed as a leader in doing so. Now, one of the main things that I also want to be able to go over in this video is the developmental direction of SnapEx. What exactly that's going to look like. And I want to do this a bit more regularly in order to be able to make sure that everybody has a very clear picture of what's going on, what our priorities will be as a brand, as a trading platform, and what we're prioritizing in order to optimize the performance of the token. We are fully aware that the token needs to have far more use cases than are currently available, and these are going to be within the next stage of our development, which we anticipate will take place either at the end of November or the beginning of December. Of course, there are a number of variables at play from a technological perspective, but of course, I can give you guys a very positive update in that we actually hired and expanded our tech team, meaning that we've hired the tech lead of one of the leading exchanges in Asia. It was formerly Japan's leading trading platform, which is a very good thing, we like to believe. And we've also bolstered and enhanced our technical team. So that means we're able to run into the future with a much greater degree of confidence and the resources at our disposal to be able to make this happen. That's the first point. The next point is that we're also going to be releasing a version 4.0 of the SnapEx platform on both the website version and the mobile version. This is going to make sure that there will be a far greater degree of stability, of scalability, and a higher capacity, meaning that we will be able to offer a much smoother and comprehensive trading experience, regardless of your level of experience and regardless of your usage on a daily basis. We want to be able to make sure that we can provide the best platform possible for both the beginner trader and the very experienced trader. That's one of our key goals moving forward. But of course, you are probably going to be asking yourself, what does this mean from a token perspective? Because you alluded to making greater use cases available. Now, this will be included in SnapEx 4.0. What that effectively means is that we'll have the tokens ready to be used for trading fee discounts. That will be one of the key features that will be made available, and that is going to be the initial feature that you're going to see and the big difference that will be there during version 4.0, as well as a number of other user demanded changes. That's another big thing that we will have there upon deployment. Now, the other thing that I also want to be able to point out, and this was one of the major goals of SnapEx from the very beginning, is how exactly can you provide a much better trading experience from a social perspective. It's not just about order execution or anything like that. It's all about how can you actually make it a more social and inclusive trading experience. That's one of the things that we want to be able to work on. And that's going to be one of our big features that will be coming up in January. Now, the feature that will be released in January will just be a prototype. But what we are doing is giving a platform for trading related content developers to be able to exhibit their content and to be able to teach their user base a little bit more about their trading strategies. This could be from the point of view of educating them, how to read the market, and just giving an overview of what their overall trading philosophy is. Are they quite risky in terms of their trading strategy, or are they a little bit more conservative? What we want to do is actually give a platform where people can interact with traders, where the traders can interact with their community, where users can actually interact with each other, you can leave reactions, and much, much more. That's what we want to be available to the community as a whole. Not just the copy trading feature that is there, but a real social trading experience. Now, moving forward into 2023, there will also be a number of other features. The feature that I just alluded to, the one that I just mentioned, I personally anticipate that it will be ready around Q1 of 2023, if all goes well. Now, one of the things that we can also make available, and this is another big learning from the last number of weeks, is the importance of credibility and reputability within the overall space. Now, people don't only want to interact with exchanges, but they also want to interact with projects. So what innovative and exciting projects are beginning to emerge? And would a platform be able to give sort of a launching ground for them to work from? Now, we are aware that there are a number of launchpads out there offering a number of different functions. But what about credit ratings? how can you give a project a credit rating? Likewise, how can a project actually be able to grade their users, grade the people buying in? So for example, if you're a person who wishes to participate in a launchpad from a user perspective, would you be able to get a greater allocation? Well, the good news is, if the higher your credit score, the better the ability to get a higher allocation would be. And likewise, there will be a much more rigorous due diligence process in place to ensure that the projects being launched on the launchpads have a much greater degree of trust and reputability within the blockchain experience and the industry as a whole. Those are the key things to point out, and we believe that moving forward there will be a much better and a much greater emphasis on this particular aspect, which is trust and credibility. Now, this will of course depend on a number of different variables. It may change based on the market conditions, but one of the things that will not change is the ability to be able to profit on both sides of the crypto markets. If the prices are going up, or if you have more bearish conditions where things aren't necessarily going well for the blockchain industry as a whole. Being able to long and short gives you the ability to do that, particularly with leverage. Now, the other thing that is very important to point out with leverage trading is that while profits can be magnified, so too can losses. So that's why it's very, very important for you as a user to be able to make sure you do adequate due diligence and to always, and I mean always, do your own research. The markets are highly volatile right now, and that means it is very, very important to understand that losses are likely as things currently stand. We don't know how things will pan out in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. So it's always important that you are adequately educated, that you understand the risks involved, and that you're able to make the best informed decisions. If you have any questions, you can feel free to get in touch with us directly via our community on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, or any other channel that you would like. I'll personally be available. I'll personally be recording more of these videos in the coming number of weeks, and I'll also be doing more interactive AMAs, meaning that if you have any questions at all, you can feel free to get in touch with me directly. Once again, I want to thank everybody for your support to date, and we're really excited about the next phase of our development. Thank you very much for tuning in, and if you have any questions whatsoever, just to reaffirm, we're always going to be available, and you're always free to contact us. Thank you very much.